we have a Radiant. We have the Dire without much in the way of good hats. Fleshwreck has a hat at least. We have an intro. And welcome everyone to another ability draft with me, KarmaKnight. If you want to see the draft, which was very amusing this time around, this happened. Oh, that's a building. This happened. You should support me on Patreon. The minimum support contribution of $1 a month will now get you access to everything I've got on there. So you should do that. Give me all your money. I know you want to. We have a 5-stack for you today, and possibly the most broken build. This right here. Elder Dragon form, Shadow Realm. It's on a good, nice long attack range. Agility hero. This build is such nonsense. I can't believe it happened. Can't believe I'm looking at it. He definitely has a bit of a farm task ahead of him where he needs to get his Ags. But it is madness. We Dire are setting up for the top rune. It's like Radiant is going to contest the bottom river rune. Couple challenges going out. Riki looks totally uncontested for our jungle rune. They've got 2 uncontested for the top jungle rune. Nobody challenges us for the river rune. Fool thinks about challenging for the river rune bottom, but that would have been a bad idea. He goes down to hang out with Riki in safe lane. Riki is Storm Spirit, not Rikimaru. With a support build that looks very supportive. Mid we've got Stargate. And up top, it is Whodat Ninja and I. This is a full 5-stack. These guys all did a great job this game. Let's take a look at some builds. We'll start at bottom. And at the most interesting build in the game. We have a Voiceless Void. Faceless Void. Voiceless Vade. The Voiceless Vade has Bash, which is nice, and Walrus Punch, which is nice. Then Arcane Orb and Laser. These are both very mana hungry for an agility hero with no mana. I don't know if I like these. Bash and Walrus Punch is good. Can always just get some damage and blow people up with this build. Might struggle to farm, but I don't know. Seems alright. It's not great, but it's alright. We've got double disables and Weaver thing. Gucci. Weaver's thing. Good talk. I know what abilities are called. That's because I talk about Dota so much. This is a legit support build. 2 disables, the ability to be sneaky and not die. I like it a lot. He is playing quite aggressively in lane, using Sukuchi to secure the range creep, while Faceless Void pulls for the support. Alright, while Faceless Void doesn't pull for the support, I have questions about what's happening right now. Faceless Void needs to be up here, picking up the creep wave, so that more of them go after the jungle camp. Anyway, it's an interesting start. On the other side, we have an OD. This OD has an absolutely terrifying assassin build. Charge into a stun and Bedlam. Terrorize, which is the one that does damage. Yeah, Bedlam. This is a beefy ability. And Riki goes down for the first blood. It's a bad start. And OD gets a kill. I believe this OD is going to do alright this game, because the assassin build is scary. Charge stun already worked. On the Morphling, we have Geminate Bash. Yeah, it's good. Like, hits things and bashes and stuff. Some armor melt, sure, I like it. Synergizes with the build. And Laguna Blade is very mana hungry, but it's not like he's spending it anywhere else. So he'll have the mana for it, I think. 450 mana later? Yeah, he'll have the mana for it. This fine. Good way to secure kills. Make sure you actually get to turn into the carry. Seems like a good build. I like it. Up top, we have Lina. Lina has a rearm Diabolic Addict build, and it's scary. You cast that 3 or 4 times and then run at somebody, they catch on fire and burn. It hits real hard. It's kind of unfortunate she didn't get any of the stuns. Like if rearm had ended up on this Leshrac right here, with his Split Earth Light Strike Array combo, that would be gross. Oh, hey, I died. How sad. Looks like we're 0-2 already. Rough start for the Radiant. Bad guys are doing well. Like I mentioned, Leshrac's got the double stun, some armor melt, damage reset. Seems like a good build. Lina's build is, I mean, Diabolic Addict and Rearm is a very strong combo, but the rest of it's a little lackluster with Rearm. Like Dragon Slave into another Dragon Slave. It's not very impressive. Especially with the talent for Dragon Slave to have, you know, 6-second cooldown. I guess that's a little bit faster, but eh. She had picked up Necromastery early, and there were good right-click abilities for her. You know, like Dragon Form. I'm not sure why she made the change into this very strange build, which I seriously don't love. Whatever. We may never know. Over here we have a very scary Spirit Breaker. He's got the Pulse Nova. He's got Fiery Soul. I do believe those work together just the way you want them to, and you just get all the stacks of Fiery Soul you could ever need in no time flat. That is a good build. Over here on KarmaKnight, that's a me. We have the dual bracers into Trav's build, because never not dual bracers Trav's. And I went just kind of tanky. Got Chronosphere to support team fights. Got Fire Breath to farm, because I did want to try to pick up a Radiance as early as possible. And, you know, Dragon Blood Time Walk is pretty solid for some tanky abilities. Gives me some armor, gives me some life regen, gives me a good escape. I give up some kills early because of the amount of spell damage in this lane, and I probably should have leveled up Time Walk. That really would have just solved that problem completely. But it's good. I have a fine early game still. Mid, we have a missing Shadow Fiend who just went bottom and picked up the first kill for our team. Has a nice early Blade of Alacrity. That is to support the as early as possible Ags that he's going to go for. Looks like he might go for a Shard also. Shard makes this Overload make way more sense on this build. And I like it. He doesn't go mid. Or top. He just hangs out mid. He does go mid. He doesn't not go mid. Anyway, this was a first pick Shadow Fiend. First pick Shadow Realm on Shadow Fiend, followed by a 20th pick Elder Dragon Form. And this build is dumb. This is one of the strongest builds I've ever seen in ability draft. I cannot believe he got these two abilities together. Overload being a legit right-click ability with Shard, and Waveform giving him escape and an extra nuke is all icing on the cake to this pair of stupid right-clicks. He does need to get his Ags before he's a real boy. Ninja goes down top. I win a duel, but it's another death on our team. Let's take a look at that fight. What happened here? Nina's 6. Diabolic Edict. No rearm, even though she's 6. But yeah, that just ran uphill into a couple of stuns and the Diabolic Edict damage. It's gross. It's a very nuky lane. Over here, the last hero to introduce is Weaver with the most obnoxious builds. Unlimited mana with Flux, unlimited teleports with Ball Lightning, A fantastic triple nuke with Shadow Rays, and a disable with Bramble Maze. The unlimited mana, unlimited teleport, raised maze build, as I like to call it. This build is the shit. This is so solid. It unfortunately didn't do a ton of damage very often, if I remember right. Although maybe he's about to sneak up on us with this Invis rune and just get a double kill. I don't know. We'll see. Trying to get his team to disable somebody for him. Triple raise, easy kill. Yeah, the sneaky triple raise is quite strong. My job this game is to run at people so this dragon can see them. OD comes top. We end up all split up. This was a messy fight. I think we had a couple of these where like I go left, he goes right, and the fight just ends up all over the map. Chikuchi is a good chase ability, but it is not good enough to catch this Weaver with unlimited mana ball lightning combo. So yeah, we ended up all spread out. Shadow Fiend went down. It's currently 6-1. It looks like a rough fight. I'm going to pause for a hot second and grab something to drink. But I will be back in a moment, right after we definitely kill this Lina and don't get stunned. Oh man, hit her with the nuke. Wasn't enough though. And she's got heals on her. We don't kill the Lina. That is another kill bottom. Shadow Fiend goes down. Nope, Faceless Void goes down. God, it would be nice if I could say what I was thinking. Let's get a drink and see if that starts happening. Please excuse the interruption to your scheduled programming. And we're back. And we're playing again. Looks like Morphling is pushing bottom and hitting a tower until he runs away. It's tower sitting him. You guys want to see something absolutely amazing? I don't have it just me screened anymore. Alright, you're going to have to see it. See it, wiggity biggity. Ready for this? It's a T-dinosaur. He's a little brontosaurus that lives in my tea. Isn't he cute? I hope you're as excited about that as I am. I am extremely excited about that. I'm going to set a timer so I don't ruin my tea, because I'm going to forget playing this game. If I don't do that, how long do you do things to tea? 4 minutes? 4 minutes seems good. Alright. So, we're at about 10 minutes. We have introduced the builds. The Radiant is 2k up and killing it. Looks like everybody's got some kills. We are losing all lanes. The only hope right now is this one kill on Shadow Fiend with assist from the bottom lane. Shadow Fiend's coming top. Can we make it happen now? Well, that is a big old slap of the Shadow Form attack. Shadow Realm. Shadowy form of a realm of shadow. Leshrac, Light Strike erase the ground. Nice! That's a couple more kills for Dragon Knight. Or, you know, a kill and an assist for Dragon Knight. You see this attack range? And that's just Dragon form. Like, he doesn't have his eggs yet. Ooh, that went a long way. Did you see that attack range? Like, let's see that one more time. Just squeeze in this attack here. That was just Shadow Realm. We're gonna see the combination later, and it is silly. Very silly. Let's take a peek at net worth. I feel like that can be very telling about how a game's going. Dragon Knight is holding up the Radiant farm currently, which is hilarious because he's definitely not holding up the Radiant kill score. Up top, Leshrac goes down. Weaver, Ball Lightning's all over the place. Remarkably ends up with no mana. got the level 4 Flux. I guess you can still just burn all your mana with Ball Lightning super easily if you don't take short little hops. Yeah, and that's going to be a dead Weaver. Alright, well, in the last 2 minutes, it went from 7-1 to 8-5. The 2k gold advantage went down to a 1k gold advantage, and this is seeming a lot better. OD with the Super Assassin build has taken none farm. Hasn't earned a no... hasn't earned. And... no real additional damage. I don't know. Seems like a good item for this build. But I feel like this OD maybe wanted to take their farm. I guess he gave it up to the Morphling, who does have the better carry build for late game. Okay, I approve of these decisions. Meanwhile, everybody on our team is ahead of them. Leshrac too. So, I mean, I guess that means they're being better supports than our supports by not taking any farm at all. Especially since they were winning lane. Like, I really expect these guys to be above our farms, or our supports in gold farm. But they are not. I'm just over here last hitting my heart out and using Breathe Fire to, you know, grab range creeps and last hits. I think I made Leshrac nervous there or something. Got a little battle mid. Looks like Riki gets caught out by the OD, takes some damage, and Morphling blows him up. Let's see that again. That was kind of cool. He's gonna Shikuchi through. Oh yeah, nice ward by the OD. That Shikuchi bites him in the butt. And the Morphling picks up a kill. That's really what the Dire needs this game, is for the Morphling to secure lots of kills. And get scary and right quickie. Hey, that means it's time to take my dinosaur out of my tea. Okay, wait a second. I'm gonna pause this game for a sec. You guys want to see something really cute and silly? When you take the dinosaur out of the tea, he pees in your tea. Oh, it's so silly. Let me just throw this dino in a bowl so he doesn't pee anywhere other than in my tea. That is some dino mighty tea. All right, we're back again. Thank you kindly for your patience. Shadow Fiend holds down mid. KarmaKnight farms top. Things are happening slowly. So, I figured this game, my entire plan was just to use the time lock Chronosphere to get good engages for my dragon. I mean my demon. I mean Stargate. And naturally I figured Radiance was the way to do that. Maybe I should have gone for, like, Blink and Abyssal Blade and been better at Lockdown, but, well, I didn't. He's gonna pick the Weaver, and the Weaver is impossible to catch. Zip, zap, zip. Get stunned. Gets out. Morphling with 3 on him will go down. OD thinks about coming in, decides 3 is too big of a bite to bite off. OD will not join the fight. Meanwhile, I avoid everyone and continue farming. Shadow Fiend has passed me up. Their team is, you know, all 3 of their carries are ahead of all 3 of our carries. Until this moment right here, where Morphling goes down. And for just a second, Shadow Fiend was above the Weaver, but I guess the Weaver got some more farm top. And is ahead again. So let's look at some builds. Look at what's happening and what should be happening. Nina's got Mana Boots and Maelstrom. Makes sense for the builds. Gonna need big mana items that also right-click a little bit. I'm fine with these picks so far. The Morphling, also a Maelstrom. This one with Agi Treads. I mean, it's fine. I'd rather see somebody going for some crit than just Maelstroms on all the carries, but like, I guess it's fine. Ooh, they kept that Riki out with a nice Ball Lightning. Shadow Fiend attempts to take revenge, but going uphill into 3 is not a good idea. I also don't come to the party. Their third carry, still 3rd place in farm. is this Weaver. I feel like this Weaver should have int boots. And, I mean, Kaya's fine, but he doesn't have anything to support it yet. I feel like this is just a get a sheepstick build. Like, rush sheepstick as quickly as possible. Because you really just need to have mana to be able to do your thing. And you're likely to get reloads, but if you ever run out completely, it can take you some time to get another chance to reload. Also, he needs to be doing short little ball lightning zips. Because if he just zips a little ways, he'll have a chance to trigger Essence Flux, but if he's going a long way, it can't trigger. I'll also be using that to, like, kill this guy. Interesting. Questionable gameplay. But, yeah, I'd like to see him going even more mana than he's going. At least he gets started. Looks like a dragon is going to take out mid. He has his Ags. 17 minutes. That is a strong build. He's using it to farm at the moment, which is fine. I don't really have vision over there. The pull from Riki is good. The dragon is hungry for creeps and not doing deeps right now. The fear breaks up the fight and everybody scatters. Lena's trying to do something, but we've got vision on her. She's going bottom, where the Weaver is rapidly running away. Are they going to stand and fight? We're all coming. A little early for me to fight. I've got my relic, but no radiance yet. I see the Weaver and don't even try to chase because I know with all that ball lightning he's just going to bounce out. Lena's still running around over here. Gets double stuns. Chrono might be overkill. Oh my gosh, and the fear sends us running and we don't get the kill. How sad. Shadow Fiend extends rather deep. We are all over the place in this fight. I pick up a kill on the Morphling. Who got that? Riki gets the kill on the OD. Turns into an okay fight for us, except for the glaring detail that our Shadow Fiend died early and didn't get any of that experience. Let's look at their supports before we look at our team. Leshrac has boots and wards. Looks like he's trying to sort out neutral items right now and will eventually be building an Aether Lens. Seems good. And their other lowest farm is their OD, who is still on that urn. Again, it's a good assassin build. Got wards. I'd like to see this OD trying to place wards like way more aggressively. Looks like our dragon already picked up at the shard as well as the Ags. That gives him great farm with Fireball. Learned that from Riki this very game. The Fireball is good for farm. I had no idea. Also, being a dragon with splash damage is good for farm. Usually how I like to do it with dragon. I would hope to see crit on this build next. Maybe a Dragon Lance. Because why not? Looks like Riki is going to get caught dewarding. And despite some good action there, he goes down. We do immediately deward their wards and catch the OD for it, though. So a fight that is not a bad trade. Here's where that dragon range starts getting truly dumb, but unfortunately he doesn't have the vision to go with his range. He really needs somebody to get in there for him. Meanwhile, I run into their jungle and hope that somebody comes with me. Pick up the Lina. I believe that's right after I finish my Radiance. It was not the fastest Radiance in my life. Weaver has figured out how to spam Ball Lightning to conserve mana. And yeah, seems like this is going alright for us right now. Score is even, 13-13. And I will be eagerly looking to see what Shadow Fiend picks up next, because the choice damage item here is going to be massive. At this point, I just want to stand in front of Shadow Fiend all game. Give him vision. Take advantage of my time walking Chronosphere to lock people down for him. Looks like Riki gets caught out top. Shoving in a sideway for us. What happened there? What happened there? Riki runs at a wave. Gets stunned by a surprise OD. The surprise Weaver comes in. Maybe that time dilation kept him off having his escape. Maybe that really mattered. I don't know. Oh yeah, look at that sweet KarmaKnight farm all the way at the top of the pile right now. That's where I like to be. Oh, we'll just pretend that didn't happen. May have forgotten exactly how slippery Weaver is. 3 of them come in and get on me. I go down after blowing an ult with all 5 of them top. Meanwhile, mid, things are not happening. Well, that wasn't the best fight ever. Alright, we've got a smoke mid. Looks like we're trying to take over this jungle. I guess this Void has some vision on these boys. Lina is somewhere diabolic editing this area, even though it looks like she's dead. What happened there? Do you just keep cooking the ground after you die? Yeah, Lina comes in to pressure this fight. Her team is nearby, but it's not close enough, and the Shadow Fiend with the Ag Scepter is good. Blows her up with an Overload, a Shadow Realm combo. The fight in their jungle just doesn't really materialize. Like, we get the Lina for overextending a bit there. That's all. Alright, that brings us to Radiant builds. We have an extremely aggressive Spirit Breaker who has the Ags, has the Nihilism. Not quite enough to 1v3 under tier 2 at level 14, but it could have been. I like the attempt there. I get charged trying to push this Weaver off a wave. Everybody's running at me. My team, their team, we all know a fight's coming down here. They do all the mean things to me. When I say everybody, I mean Shadow Fiend came. The rest did not. So I get my carry killed. Hanging out in dead lane. Good job, me. Alright. That seems like maybe not the best play ever. Charge goes mid. Warning goes off. Oh man. Is this about to happen? Oh no, the charge stopped. Okay. Oh, that would have been too funny. Alright, let's check out some builds. We got Riki, unable to farm with this build, with the Veil of Discord. I guess this is quite good with Pulse Nova and the splash damage and burn from Dragon Knight and my Radiance. Like, yeah, this makes sense as an item. He's got a bunch of other consumables and a wand. It's a very solid support build. I like it a lot. All of them farm their jungle. Dead lane pushes in. They've got vision down here. We all farm our jungle. It's not the most fast-paced thing I've ever seen. Our safe lane carry is our second to lowest farm. He's got an Echo Saber to bash more. He has a Talisman of Evasion or a Butterfly. Yeah, I like it. Desperately needs some agility. These need to be power treads or travs or something so he can get on top of people. Maybe an agility blink instead of a butterfly would be the pick. Chronosphere is good. The Morphling is a cake and refuses to go down. But we get her eventually. The OD tries to run at the dragon. It doesn't work. The dragon now has a hyperstone, and this build is getting scary. He's going to go down for hanging out in front. OD gets on top of Shadow Fiend, and that is pretty bad for the Shadow Fiends. Waveform is good though. As is Shadow Realm. I guess it's not so bad for the Shadow Fiend. So Weaver gets a bunch of kills, Shadow Fiend gets some kills. The gold split is as it was throughout most of the game, where all three of their carries are up higher than our entire team, and our two supports are above their two supports, which is fascinating. It means supports on our team are taking gold, which is extremely understandable in the case of this guy. But this fool should be above this ninja, farm-wise. But they can't all be perfect games. Shadow Fiend is ahead on our team now. Let's take a look at some other items. Let's see, we looked at this boy, we looked at this boy. Let's look at... I see... yeah, an axe, and a rub, some arcane boots and a wand. Pretty much all mana stuff. Makes sense. So that doesn't immediately crack Fiery Soul, but the splash when it resolves does, or maybe that was a lightning bolt. Not sure how easy it is for him to keep up Fiery Soul with this. Oh, Pulse Nova is not replenishing Fiery Soul. That's fascinating. On the bright side, Lightning Storm is excellent with Fiery Soul. Just lots of hits. What is it? Yeah, 11 bounces, so one Lightning Strike is all of the Fiery Soul. That's quite good. The Riki and Dragon combo certainly kills things. Up top, Weaver is being annoying, and I can't catch him, so I just keep on farming away. Somebody shows up and takes my farm, but it's fine. He's got a Moon Shard, looks like he's going for a BKB. I really like this dragon build. Just activated all the axe stuff and is now going for carry stuff. Seems good. For me, I'm just being a tank. Got some bracers early, got my Radiance for that evasion. I'm going for a silence so he can lock down the Weaver. Seeing that he's the top of their farm, I guess I was right in thinking he was a threat and we needed to be able to deal with him. I also thought silencing Melina so she couldn't rearm might be worthwhile. OD is coming for me top. It's gonna go right through my carry and my support to get to me if it keeps coming though. And he does not. That might have been a wise peel off right there. That's builds. It's now 30 minutes. And it's still extremely close, really. Most fights have been big, messy trades where everybody dies. Some things that are interesting about this is their kills are very much spread out over their whole team. Everybody but Leshrock has 5 kills. Like, no clear carry. And on our team, we've got one boy doing all the work. Which is excellent, because now that he's got his Moon Shard, once he gets that BKB, this build is going to turn real scary. I hang out in dead lane more, but at this point I've got the mana to just spam my escape, and actually haven't leveled up now. And I'm kind of fishing at this point. I believe we've got an okay fight coming up here. I try really hard to catch the OD with that Chronosphere. Don't do it. I do bring down the Weaver. That's 3 of them dead. Let's back up a tick. Where did the rest of that happen? Ah, Leshrac gets caught with a dragon on him. So this is all happening bottom while our little kerfuffle is going on in their triangle. So that's not the moment. Gemma's True Sight gets dropped. That's not good. I believe our Riki grabs it. Maybe our Void grabs it. I don't know who grabs it. Somebody grabs it. We get a good fight. We push a tier 1 at 30 minutes. Alright, it's not the fastest game ever. But we're doing okay. The Dragon Knight running around in front of the dragon is working okay. We haven't really gotten our stuff together yet. I know it happens eventually. It's like they're doing a very decent job of keeping the board boarded up, at least in their jungle. We got some good aggressive wards. Check out this sweet high ground ward. Was great for that fight that definitely only happened bottom lane and not partially in their triangle. Also under reward though. A pertinent one considering Riki was the one there and Riki's the one with the invis. Morphling now has a Shadow Blade and a BKB and a Dragon Lance. This build is everything I want to see. He's going for crit next. I love it. Seems very good. Could use a Mask of Madness. Looks like we have smoked up. We're trying to do things. We catch Lina, disable. Morphling does some nasty stuff and explodes Riki. Uses a squish. Dragon ends up in the middle of the fight. Gets the BKB up. Picks up some kills. Seems good. Also seems like maybe struggling with vision a bit. Lina, with the buyback, will clean up our dragon. Faceless Void goes down. And I'm done with this party. Oh, did I say done? I meant I'm gonna kill this Weaver real fast and then run. Ooh, I did not know he dropped a gem. Whoopsies. Guess I should have grabbed that. I go for a Sage here. It's because I want the more mobility to make sure I can hang out with my dragon. I was late to that party. And again, we get a very messy trade. Our team is now up a good amount in gold. We finally have 3 clear carries. I'm sure Faceless Void has his butterfly by now. But still brown boots, and he's going for BKB before other boots. Yeah, running at people at this speed is not going to get you there. You really need some mobility ability if you're not going to get boots. Considering the BKB and the Dragon Lance, I feel like he should certainly be agility treads. I'd also much rather see him using this Elven Tunic instead of just holding it for his team. Seems good. The dragon is now a big scary black dragon. I love the Mask of Madness. Whoopsies. I love the Mask of Madness here with the Moon Shard. That is just very scary machine gun mode. And yeah, it works pretty well. Pick up a kill on the left track, blow up the tier 2 mid. Lina is meanwhile pushing in bottom, which I go down to contest while the rest of my team looks for the high ground. Should I be here right now? Yeah, probably. I think me being here might be the correct thing. Even uphill, that dragon slaps. Spirit Breaker goes down. Lina retreats from bottom. I bring in the bottom lane, since I did go down to push it out. And I'm kind of hoping to join the fight here. We've now taken over their jungle, and I kind of figure, I'm tanky enough now that I've got this SMY. Maybe we can grab a tower, set up this Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend doesn't want any part of it. Riki lures them out. Shadow Fiend stands under a T2. I don't like that. Weaver gets out. Shadow Fiend goes down. Spirit Breaker goes down. Dragon Knight tries to run, but will surely go down any second now. And the Chronosphere to run away. But Lina is on it and catches us, and that is 4 of us down. Our beautiful 8k lead is suddenly down to a 3k lead. And that's not good. Gets caught top. Weekend is not going to do it. Weaver has picked up a Radiance on this build. I don't understand. And I am someone who gets Radiance on every build. This just seems extremely wrong to me. Meanwhile, the push goes down mid. Looks like they're going to pick up R2 T2. As well they should after a very successful team fight like that. There's certainly a question of where are they? We're all down for another 20 seconds. Shadow Fiend's back up. Shadow Fiend can defend from like well inside base, so maybe not pushing is the right call there. It seems like maybe they could have pushed that a little harder, gotten a high ground tower. They do take the opportunity to grab our outpost on the way out of town. And they skied up. Alright, so we've got Lina with a sheep stick, which makes a lot of sense with Refresh. Seems like a good build. I seriously don't know why Weaver has a Radiance, but okay. I mean, good item. Somebody's in the team should have it. Leshrac has that Aether Lens and is going for an Ags. Time-lapsing his friends? Sure. Alright. Morphling has upgraded to the Silver Edge and is going for a Scatty. I like it. They come from the Lucky Charms bottom. It's 4 of them. I don't get away. Disabled forever. And silenced. No chance to win. Maybe I should have been paying attention. Meanwhile, this dragon split pushes top. Sends Creep Wave in and leaves, considering they're all in our jungle. Maybe could have stayed for a second. Looks like Morph and OD are going to fight for the farm. Morph's getting big. OD, remarkably, still doesn't have much. Deathblade and Urn. Again, good items for the ambush combo. Not sure how viable that is at this point in the game. But they do have good offensive wards, so if the opportunity presents itself, OD theoretically should be ready and able to jump on somebody. Faceless Void. Same items as last time we checked. Can almost afford a speed KB. Isn't chopping. I don't know what's happening there. Storm Spirit. We looked at. Who am I leaving? That build. This build. Build. Lina? Oh yeah, Lina with the Maelstrom sheep stick and I like it. Gets caught and blown up, but that's okay. We've got some mana regen and an additional silence on Spirit Breaker. All seems good. Trying to do this mana hungry build on a strength body is hard, so you know, some mana regen seems like the ticket. Shadow Fiend goes down to the OD combo. Yeah, I'm rather confident what we're about to see here. Shadow Fiend is spotted. OD's gonna do the charge. Ult, Dragon Tail, and down he goes. Weaver came back to help, but that is icing on the OD cake. Oh no. Oh no! The poorest of couriers goes down. Ninja Gear ends up on Morphling. That's very scary. Looks like he's pretty close to a Scatty also. That's also very scary. Meanwhile, we've got a Lincoln's on our Storm. I like it. Some mana regen, some not getting blown up by spells. Seems good. Going for an AC on the Dragon Knight. Wanna both have some attack speed so I'm useful in fights. Have some mobility so I can be in the fights and be a little tanky. So trying to get items that provide a nice mix of all those things. The Dire goes for a pretty much uncontested Roche here. They're gonna blow it up. Morphling grabs it. Still no Scatty. Oh man, another unsuccessful Chrono just to run away. Feels bad. I should probably learn how to use Chronosphere at some point. Maybe it'll happen eventually. But for now, we're trying to blow up creeps as we run, but I feel like we've all got the feeling that they're here. You both get caught out. I've got some escape, so I escape. Aces Void goes down. Once the fight's happening in earnest, the dragon gets some good attacks in from range. Turns out the Lincoln Sphere was for the dragon. I like that a lot. And yeah, here we go. I'm running to the right, and he's going after the guy on the left. We definitely had this problem this game where fights just got real messy, and we struggled with picking the same target. And it went pretty well once we figured out who we were fighting. OD buys back. As far it's a 3 for 2, which is pretty good. Kind of daring them to come at me. They don't. And the map settles down again. Now it's at 43 minutes. The score has swung back in their favor. Their Weaver is rich. Although this build is weird. I'm not sure how he's supposed to win with a Lincoln Sphere. You just don't get the build. Obviously doing okay with it, but I don't get it. Scatty on their morph is fine. He's kind of turned himself into a little more utility and a little less just hard-hitting right-click carry. I feel like he needs a Daedalus and like something with some good attack speed. Like more than just the Silver Edge is 35. To really get strong. He's got a good body for it, but not currently going to get there the way he's playing. Leshrac with Axe, Orb, and Boots. Axe, Lens, and Boots. Sorry, nothing exciting there. Here comes the big fight mid, where I catch 2 in a Chronosphere, and I have my dragon in range. I go after the other one in my Chronosphere, and my dragon goes after the Weaver, who gets these apps right out. Turns around to fight the Morphling. Between the dragon and the Spirit Breaker, that looks like it goes okay. I get the kill up here on the Luna. And despite our scattered brain tactics all game, at 45 minutes, we finally get a Chronosphere and a dragon nearby. And suddenly we are in position to push high ground. 3 of them are down. Cost of a Faceless Void. This is looking quite alright. Now, OD might be able to do something about this if terrorizes up, but it's not. So we blow up mid-racks. Ski-daddle. I am greedy, so I go bottom to clean up the lane. Looks like I'm working on finishing my Bloodthorn. Seems alright. Dragon now has a Butterfly and a BKB. The Morbid Mask got disassembled for the Butterfly. And next he's going for an Arcane Blink over traps. I don't hate it. He's gonna hit real hard. Panda and Dragon go in together. Looks like they're hunting for something. But there's nobody up, and they don't get it. At least not the kill. Riki is obviously trying to D-ward up here. Runs right by one. Bit of an unusual spot. Dragon picks it up though, thanks to the Gem of True Sight. A very good item. Oh man, check out this black thundercloud dragon. So scary. Oh man. Spiritbreaker tries to take the shrine back. He does so successfully. Weaver gets on him. Lena's right there and sleeping. I come to the party. Riki comes to the party. Weaver promptly leaves the party. Faceless Void and Lena look at each other over a wave of creeps and definitely do things to each other. No? No things? Okay. Bloodthorn on Weaver seems good. The Bloodthorn Radiance combo is good for damage and good if you need to shut somebody up. This Weaver and I have like opposite interpretations of it though, where I'm just all tank and mobility after those 2 items, and he's all caster after those items. Nina is just hanging out bottom. Gonna be forced to TP mid. We pick up the OD. Let's see that fight, because this is pretty important. Not sure what play they're hoping for here. But the Blinky BKB Big Dumb Dragon just gets in there and blows somebody up. Gets a little too deep and gets blown up himself though. And yet again, the score is very close. It's 37-38. Pick up on Riki for trying to D-ward. Do they see the gem? They do see the gem. Alright. Looks like Weaver's gonna grab the gem and take it home and leave it in their fountain. That's 2 now. I guess they don't care about vision. Fascinating. Faceless Void now has Travs. I like it. Also a BKB. That's good. That means he can at least run up to people and do things. Not sure if that really gets him in fights or not. Maybe he just needs like a blink so he can jump on people in Walrus Punch. Or like a Shadow Blade so he can sneak up to people invis in Walrus Punch with bonus damage. That seems like it would be good. That would give him some attack speed to time lock more. Yeah, I'm not sure what the right call with this build was, but I don't love these decisions. Weaver does mean things to me. I know their team is there. I'm planning on being able to get out with time lock, but their disables are too long, and I cannot get out. Yeah, nice AC against 1,000,000 spell damage. So, now with me dead and Shadow Fiend dead for another 10 seconds, it's high ground defense time. It's not going great. They have a lot of lockdown. That brings down me and the Spirit Breaker. Faceless Void's dead, leaving a Shadow Fiend and a Storm Panda to defend the base. And now that the Shadow Fiend's out there, they don't really seem like they want any of this. The BKB is good, the switch to a creep is bad. Dragon gets some good damage on Lina, but has to back up, as does Lina. He does, however, blow up Leshrac. So now it's just a 4-man push against the same two defenders. They got the top racks down, but with this big fireball here, it's way harder for them to take mid. Dragon goes low ground for an aggressive kill. Picks up the OD. Other team retaliates. Lina blows him up. Lina, no. Shadow Fiend blows him up. Agility Blink seems to be putting in work. Maybe that just was the perfect item. I like the 3 big attack speed, 2 of them damage items on this build. I like the BKB. Feel like if you're not going to have Trabs by 50 minutes, it should have been Power Treads at 5 minutes. But nobody asked me. Meanwhile, pretty happy with my build. Looks like I'm going for my Moon Shard. Maybe had aspirations for eventually Basher. Weaver zippity zaps around. I try to run at him, try to silence him, but can't even click on him because he zippity zaps away too fast. And now they're all dead. What happened to their Morphling and their Lina? Let's watch these guys. Looks like they push top. Did I just go back 2 whole minutes? Does Shadow Fiend happen to these guys? No, Lina gets out here. What did I miss? What did I miss? Was I sleeping? Apparently I was sleeping. There it is. That's a big old kaboom from the Shadow Fiends. Saw this a second ago. I must have gone way too far. When these two are dead, yeah, I must have jumped 2 minutes. 10 seconds. 1 minute. So Lina stays mid, and this must just be an overstay. Morphling comes to her aid. Storm goes invis. And the Shadow Fiend just turns around on high ground and deletes Morph as he tries to come up to high ground. That's actually some diebacks on their side. The Morphling's dead now for more than 90 seconds. So hopefully we push off this. Because we should. Push. Bring forces, baby. I'm doing what I can to push, but when I see I have nobody with me, I do not continue. I will, however, pick up a double damage and go try to do things to this Weaver. The Weaver is too slippery, and I cannot do things to him. So Weaver and Shadow Fiend have run away with the net worth. I like the Bloodthorn, providing for the Yasha. And Kaya. Kind of all over the place, but it's solid. This build is what it was last time we looked at it, just a little bit thicker. He's got that BKB, the Silver Blade is upgraded, the Scatty is all together. It's a good build, he just needs a good fight. Easier said than done at this point in the game. We're all just trying to set up the right fight. Next is me. I have my moon shard, and I'm planning on eating it so I can get a heart soon. Honk. Weaver does a lot of teleporting around. We just left a shard on the ground in the rich pit. Oh man, how embarrassing. Meanwhile, Shadow Fiend goes in very aggressively, draws the fight together, teleports in, hits that Super Saiyan button. Chronosphere is good. That is a Morphling ult down and an easy cleanup afterward. At this point, I'm just trying to get vision for my dragon, because Stargate can kill things if you can look at them. The fireball pushes the wave. Mid is now down. I peel off to go hit top. Shadow Fiend says, no thank you, I'll just hit mid. Weaver tries to come in and do things. Everybody else comes in and does all the nasty things to me. It's so much damage. Time Walk sets me free though. This dragon just deletes anything that comes out of the base. While middle's down, we did not really get time to push top off this. The OD kill is nice though. Looks like the big fight's coming up mid. They do catch our Spirit Breaker. I have left the house. Should maybe be back by now, but I wanted to just make sure we push top out. Weaver doing some very silly bouncing around. Picks up the Storm Spirit, but leaves the Shadow Fiend alive. And that is clearly what matters this game for us. Alright, well, I've got all the items in Dota at this point. Picked up a Reaver. Feeling ready to go. I do my best to lock these boys down. Time Walk keeps him going. Shadow Fiend keeps the damage flowing. Leshrac tries to get in behind him. Gets distracted by the Void, has to be ulted out. We get a little scrambled. They get together. So many of my friends die. But Shadow Fiend bites back, and there he is in his large, glorious demon self, just shoving down mid now. That we've got Leshrac on a dieback, Morphling on the buyback, Weaver trying to get Q, 3 of them converging on our Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend goes down, that seems like it could be real bad. Now they've got all the time in the world and a big push to make here. Shadow Fiend buys back. Faceless Void buys back. Alright, all their room in the world is now gone. We've got this push lane to farm. They've got to push mid to farm. The amount of gold sometimes is staggering. Sage and Kaya on the Spirit Breaker. I like it. Mana's an issue here for sure, so seems good. Oh man. I can't get over how slow this Shadow Fiend is. .305 movement speed. But he is a tanky boss boy. Shadow Fiend looking for some gold. We're at 57 minutes. What a match. It is 47-48, close as can be. Weaver is actually ahead in the farm by 8k. They make some big plays bottom. Weaver misses the Spirit Breaker. The stun is good on the Weaver. Gonna make it all the way to the small camp before he gets stunned though. Spirit Breaker keeps his passive up. Keeps Fiery Soul up with lightning. We got a nice invis. Dropping them in our triangle. We can get the good disable. I try to go run interference on the OD, but get feared, and Stargate picks it up. Unsurprisingly, Stargate is the MVP of this match. Lena goes top and immediately hides, scared of our Spirit Breaker. For all the mana she has and all these good items, she does not have the reset. This big, slow, ponderous dragon slowly ponders his way toward top. Lena and Weaver try to do mean things to face this void mid and succeed. The Chronosphere comes out late. Who am I saving here? I don't know. Weaver gets a kill on the Faceless Void, but it costs them, it looks like 2 in Morphling and OD. And our Shadow Fiend decides that is enough. There's no tower here to stop me anymore. I'm going to take these racks and blow up some mid. Got a big old pack just chilling in their base. Dragon just casually blasting towers from across the map. The rest of us do really mean, annoying run interference stuff. Looks like that's going to be all she wrote. The dragon finally does it just after 60 minutes. No T5s this time. With a final score of 31-8. It was a tough fight. We're actually only up 2 kills and 8k gold at the end. It's usually in a long match like that way more swung one way or the other. If I seem a little out of it today, I apologize. I traveled home yesterday. I have not slept much. Hopefully my commentary was still worth watching. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. You can find more content on Patreon. I stream Tuesdays and Thursdays. And probably some other stuff too. You know how to find things on the internet. I believe in you. Thank you. Good luck. Have fun. Don't die. I will see you in the next one. If you're watching on Patreon, let's take a look at the scoreboard.